Welcome to Raw and Real Real Estate, the podcast that makes buying, selling, and investing in real estate simple. I'm your host, Marisol Ortiz, and each week I'll share practical tips, real stories, and expert advice to help you make smarter real estate decisions. Hey everyone, welcome back to Raw and Real Real Estate. This is episode 2 of season 2. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm particularly excited about this episode. Because I think this topic had a lot of good feedback on my social media. A few weeks ago, I shared a little bit of my journey as the owner of a short-term rental. Last year, my husband and I decided that it was time to take a dive into short-term rentals. Typically, a long-term rental is something more like 6 months, or that's actually a midterm rental, a year. But short-term rental is anything usually under 30 days. So Airbnb can come into mind, VRBO can come into mind, anything like that, like when you vacation or go visit family somewhere and you just need a place to stay for a few days. So I posted that video sharing the lessons that I've learned along the way, and a lot of people reached out asking if I could share some more. A lot of my followers, a lot of my friends wanted to know if maybe this was a good option for them. And many of them actually own a home now that is either a long-term rental or they live in it. I remember I had actually a client reach out. He works out of town and he purchased a home, but he says he doesn't really come into town that often anymore. So he was considering turning it into an Airbnb for the days that he's not in town, that he's working out of town. This episode is going to answer for you the following question. Should you own an Airbnb in 2026? And to answer this question, I have a list of tips, warnings, and benefits you should know of. Let's get right to it. So the very first question that I know is going to come to your head if you're thinking about going into this type of investment is, how do I even get my hands on a property that makes a good short-term rental? And the most obvious answer to this, I think, is you can turn your home that you currently live in into an Airbnb. The way we acquired our property is we just got it off the MLS. It was literally for sale, listed by a realtor. We looked at several properties, and when I saw that one, I told my husband, that's it. We were not too fond of the fact that it only has one restroom. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home. We were not too fond of that. We really wanted 2, but now that's actually kind of been to our advantage, because when we go clean it, it's a lot easier and faster to clean 1 bathroom than it would be to clean 2 or more. But anyway, so yes, right now I think this market is lending itself for you to go out as a buyer and purchase a property that would actually make a good short-term rental. Prices are fair. There's no more crazy bidding wars, even though there may be multiple offer situations if the home is priced right. But I think that when you see a property that has been sitting on the market for over 60 or 90 days, you should definitely take a look at it and consider it an option as a short-term rental. Sellers are also very willing to just make a deal work. So whatever it is that you need help with, whether it be closing costs or compensating your agent, whether it be any sort of, credit or repair, even dropping the price, I think this is a good market where you can actually come to a good, fair negotiation with the seller. And with that being said, here is tip number 1 if you're thinking about launching an Airbnb. Do your market research. Find out what brings people to your short-term rental. What will it be? For us, since our Airbnb is in El Paso, we knew that people visiting their loved ones that are stationed in Fort Bliss would be a big group of people staying. El Paso is not a place where people come vacation um, for the fun of it, but they come vacation because they usually just have family here. So we knew that would happen, and time again, when people request to stay, they let us know, our grandma lives nearby. Um, People come for a lot of weddings and funerals. I guess that's probably going to be the situation in a lot of other places, but that's what we find is the top reason why people come. The other thing is we did purchase this property because an amphitheater where big events will be held is actually under construction, and we hope it's ready within the next year or two. That should bring a significant increase to the number of bookings. We think a lot of great events are going to be hosted there, and we are expecting to get more traffic because of that. So do your market research, make sure that you are in a good market that will have demand. This brings me to tip number 2. Find out how much you can make on Airbnb. Obviously, the numbers have to make sense in order for you to take a leap of converting your current home or your long-term property or the property you just purchased. The numbers have to make sense if you want to go ahead and move forward with buying furniture, decorating it, taking pictures, putting it on the market. There's a lot of legwork to get to the point of having a live short-term rental on the market. So find out how much can you make through Airbnb. Just go ahead and Google how much can I make on Airbnb and type in your zip code. The website will give you an estimate of how much you can make a night. And again, you can go in there and look at different houses, see what they offer, and try and see if you can offer the same thing so that you can get on average the same nightly rate. Here's your tip number 3, and this one will save you lots of money up front, and that is get your furniture or all your decor from either a thrift store or get it from Facebook Marketplace. Use the extra items that you have laying around. Maybe you have a desk at home that you never really use. Maybe there's a chair sitting on a corner just collecting dust. Decorations that you don't really use anymore, or I mean, yeah, they're cute, but you don't really need to look at them. You rather just take them to your Airbnb. So just really take inventory of what you have and use it. Tip number 4 is try to be flexible. And when I say try to be flexible, I mean with guest timing or requests. For example, sometimes they will ask you, can we check in earlier or can we check out later? And if you are able to allow them to do either one, I would highly suggest that you do. You don't necessarily have to do it free. You can do it for an additional fee, but just providing that option for guests is, I find, great comfort to them. It'll render you good reviews because many times people are traveling, they've been driving for a very long time, and they get to your Airbnb early before check-in time, and they want to rest, they want a place to just relax. And if they ask you, then it's a good opportunity for you to wow them. I would say accept it. One thing that we have learned to be flexible with has been the amount of time that we allow between guests. So when we first started off, I remember thinking, okay, this is going to be easy. All I need to do is block out 1 or 2 days so that I can have enough time to go and clean. But very soon I realized that leaving that much time between bookings was really hindering us from being able to get the max amount of profit. Not very many people were booking us, and I think it's just maybe the availability was too strict. When I had people going in Friday and Saturday and then checking out on Saturday or Sunday, and then I wanted 2 days, 3 days to clean. That means people cannot check in until Tuesday. Who needs to come until Tuesday? Usually people need to check in like for the work week, Monday through Friday, something like that. So anyway, we were just ending up with really odd availability, and that was not working for us. So we decided to be more flexible and actually allow people to leave and come in on the same day, leaving us with just like a 4-hour gap to prepare the home. But that worked out for us. We were a little bit more, I guess, stressed at the beginning about it, but with time we realized that there were tips and tricks in order to prepare for the turnovers and be able to accommodate more guests. So have an open mind about being flexible with that as well. Here is warning number 1, and that is that things break, and they break a lot. For example, in the 7 months that we have had this short-term rental, we've had a light fixture in the restroom break, the toilet seat broke, kitchen cabinet door broke, our front gates, and just recently one of our beds broke. So be ready to be handy or have somebody on call, because again, if you only have 4 hours between guests, first impressions matter. And if that guest is only there for 2 nights or 3 nights and you cannot get that fixed during their stay, then probably your review is not going to be very good. You have one shot at wowing them for a very short time, so don't mess it up. Warning number 2, having a short-term rental is way more time consuming than I had imagined. And again, we own a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home, but on average, we invest about 40 to 60 hours a month running that Airbnb. And that's going to include turnovers, prepping the home, maintenance, repairs, even commuting, doing laundry all day, every day. By the way, our washing machine just broke last night at our home that we live in because we run it so much, so often. We try to do laundry at the Airbnb sometimes, maybe like a load or 2 max, because there's not enough time to do more. But yeah, I mean, it's very time consuming. Be ready for it. If you work a full-time job, you're really going to have to manage your time well, or probably have a co-host to help you. You could also be very hands-off with this. If the profit margins allow it, then just hire somebody to run this, and be aware that when you are asking it to run it for you, you're asking them to do all the things that I just named. Now, let me just clarify that number that I gave you, 40 to 60 hours a week, that's just for us because we run it fully. If you are running just like a smaller studio or a bigger home, obviously the time invested is going to change significantly, and I am not including the over 200 hours that my husband and I spent each on launching the property. And here's the most important warning I have for you. It may or may not work out. So if a short-term rental does not work out in your market, if you're not getting enough traffic in to pay for your mortgage or to make your money back from all of the investments into the furniture, the launching of the property, then just be ready to at least be able to make a long-term rental rent on it. As a backup plan, make sure that your property can rent out month to month and help you recoup your money back, or at least pay for your mortgage if you have a mortgage. And now for the benefits and the reason why we do this, and we want to keep doing it over and over again wherever it makes sense. A short-term rental can be way more profitable than a long-term rental. I'm going to share with you our numbers. Your numbers could look different, but just to explain this to you on a deeper level, we make twice as much money on average with short-term rental than what we would be making if we were on a long-term rental with a tenant on a 1-year contract month to month. Benefit number 2, if you are all for financial independence and you still want to be present with your kids, then this could be the way to go for you. We many times take our kids to the Airbnb while we're cleaning it or doing maintenance on it. Not always, but we can. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope that these tips, warnings, and benefits have helped a little bit and have cleared out your mind. If you have considered turning your current home into an Airbnb or one of your long-term rentals into an Airbnb, let me know. And if you have any more questions, I will be happy to help. Thanks for listening. Until next time.